Hello peeps, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be making these cabochons for this particular vintage album clock. If you're interested in seeing how I do that, well, stay tuned. I like to make my cabochons using photo paper, inkjet photo paper. It doesn't really matter what kind. This one is an HP. I just cut it in half and then I tape it onto a canvas board with some frog tape. It still has the plastic on it so I can use the canvas board again. And then the other things that I'm going to need are my paints. Okay, these are the same color paints that I used for the clock itself, and then my cell activators, and then of course your pillow paint. So I'm going to put the pillow paint on. I'm going to try really hard to only put enough. I don't want to use a whole lot on this. Okay, that's beautiful. Let me just throw this in the bucket. I'm going to swipe from the center out. The top is going to be the blue and the bottom is going to be the colors of the fluorescent flowers. So let's go ahead and start with the top portion. A little bit of Venetian blue. You want enough paint on there so that you can swipe it both ways. And I'm going to use a little bit of this phthalo turquoise. Then I'm going to use a little bit of this cobalt. Tiny bit of this fairy tale blue. A little bit of this Glacier. And then finally I'm going to top it off with some silver, which will give it a little bit of a shimmer. Now on the bottom part here, I'm going to do the colors of the flowers for the clock. And I'm going to start out with some fluorescent orange. And then I'm going to use some fluorescent pink. A little bit of Shady orange. And a tiny bit of glowing peach. So I'm going to start with the top swipe first. I'm going to use this palette knife instead. And I'm going to swipe out this way and this way using the Prussian blue. And the titanium white. All right. And I'm just going to move this around on the palette knife, just like this. And let's start with a swipe this way. And then we'll do a swipe this way. I just love these little paddle knives for the smaller parts. Okay, again, I just do some Prussian blue and a tiny bit of white. And of course, I'm going to move this around and I'm just going to set it on here. And swipe it out. Let's hope I can do a better swipe on this. I'm not real pleased with what I did, so we'll do it again. Okay, I'm going to put a little bit more Prussian blue on here. Move that around. And swipe. Oh, that's beautiful. Now we're going to work on this bottom swipe here. One thing we're going to need to do is use the Magenta CA along with the white. And I'm going to go ahead and start spinning. And then I'm going to spin it the other way. And the trick is to distribute the paint evenly and to make sure that we have an even layer and a thin layer so that the paint doesn't crack. And continue to tilt and spin until I get as many cells as I can possibly get, and then I'm going to let it dry. Okay, stay tuned for that. Okay, so this is the wet results. You see all those cells in there? Okay, here are the dried results. I've already added the cabochons onto the areas that I want to use as my number placeholders on the clock. This will be all the pink colors that matches the flowers, and this is all the blue colors that matches the ocean. This is the clock that I'm making, and yeah, those are the cabochons that will be the numbers on the clock. Alright, I'll go ahead and apply these to the album once they're dry, and I'll show you in just a second how that looks. Okay, I've already cut the cabochons out for this next step. I've placed the clock mechanism in the album, and I've placed the cabochons in the hour positions that I think they will look best. And now to glue them on. All I do is I place the clock mechanism at 12 o'clock and I position the cabochon how I want it. I glue it on with E6000, and when I move on to the next position, I just take the clock mechanism and then I take the second hand like this, and what that does is it gives me the position of the next hour. And then I just place the cabochon like that, glue it on, and move on to the next one.